rise and join in singing with me the national anthem.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tom Wallace, and I have the privilege of serving as president of Illinois State University. We welcome you to this 132nd commencement ceremony, the climax of significant achievement and the fulfillment of a dream of the university, parents, and students. This is a time for celebrating. Let us enter into the spirit of honoring, of praising, and wishing well our graduates of 1991. I would like to introduce Gregory Aloya, Associate Vice President for Research and Dean of Graduate Studies.
We are pleased and honored to have with us members of the Board of Regents. Illinois State University is one of 3 universities under its direction. Regents are citizens appointed by the governor who serve without remuneration, devoting their energies to the betterment of our universities. Will each board member please stand as I call your name and be recognized? Brewster Parker, Chairman. Member. And Rod Groves, Chancellor. Today we are honored to have with us one of the former presidents of Illinois State University. Dr. Samuel Braden, President Emeritus, served the university Braden was president of Illinois State University from 1967 through 1970. We now have the presentation for the doctoral degrees. Will all candidates for the degrees of Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Education,
Mary Howard, Kenneth David Harding, Lynn Hauser, Susan Marie Hinkle, Rebecca Elizabeth Hirsch, Colleen R. Hoffman, someone who is absent due to active military service with the armed forces in the Persian Gulf. Jeff Robshaw. Ruth Ann Romer. Mary Noel Rooks. Alan Joseph Roscoe. Catherine J. Sleesman. Martha Cook Schneerman. Ronald Patricia Sears. Martha Ann Schaefer. Troy Gilbert Simpson. Stephen Kenneth Smith. Janice Marbles Summers. Carrie Lynn Stewart. Arlene M. Stroud. Christine Ann Solko. Renee Milam Thomas. Beth Ann Van Houten. Quinping Wang. Alicia Ann Watson. Xiaohui Wei. Teresa Frances Westfall. Catherine Ann Young. Louis R. Zambrano Sequin.
All students receiving a master's degree in the College of Business, please proceed to cross the stage and receive your diploma cover.
Alumni news. We look forward to seeing you back at homecoming or at our local alumni chapter hours. As alums, you join outstanding teachers, dedicated scientists and social workers, government officials, school and university administrators, businessmen and professionals who make up our organizations. Welcome to that group. Congratulations.
At this point in the program, the script calls for the president to offer a commentary to the class of 1991. The delivery of a memorable message to a graduating class is virtually impossible. The fact of the matter is that commencement day is simply too joyous and too exciting an occasion for anyone to ever remember a commencement message. This is as it should be. A day of celebration, a day of pride, and perhaps not a time for serious reflection on your future or on the problems of society. However, I will try. Not to be memorable, but to be brief. However, remember that the administration sometimes deceives. On many campuses nationally over the last few years, there has been discussion and debate regarding the diversity of thought and expression, particularly related to the freedoms of speech, literature, art, and music. In an editorial entitled "Diversity Goes to College," the Washington Post recently stated, quote, "Diversity has become a suspect term in American education, It remains a central principle of the country's life and has a wholly legitimate significance in running universities. Issues regarding diversity of thought and expression have raised many questions across the country. How should a university view diversity of expression in the forms of writing, speech, music, and art, as related to the historic role of academic inquiry in a university environment and to the protection of the First Amendment? How does a university accept, encourage, and promote diversity of ethnic, racial, religious, and social thought as a positive, constructive element in its academic community? Today, the term civility is being used as one measure of a university environment or campus climate. Jim Prine, an ISU campus minister, accurately portrayed the challenge of creating a civil campus climate when he stated that, quote, "Society's problem is attitude change, conversion from narrow, self-serving, uncivilized actions and behavior to respect, openness, the capacity to listen, to explore one's attitudes and feelings, and become sensitive to the feelings and values of other cultures and other persons." Some campuses have developed codes of conduct intended to restrict speech deemed offensive, particularly to women and minorities. Legal scholars are deeply divided over such attempts to restrict such speech. Some say that hateful speech tests our commitment to the freedom of expression and that more speech, not less, is the proper cure for offensive speech. Supreme Court Justice Harlan stated that, quote, "We cannot indulge in the facile assumption that one can forbid particular words without also running a substantial risk of suppressing ideas in the process," unquote. Clarence Page, writing in the Chicago Tribune, stated, quote, "How do you ban speech so offensive as to be called hateful without restricting all speech that offends someone? That's the problem of opening loopholes in the First Amendment. Where does it end? And who decides for you what is obscene and what is hateful," unquote. Professor Gerald Gunther, who has taught constitutional law for over 35 years at Columbia, Harvard, and Stanford universities, recently addressed the issue of restricted speech. He said, quote, "Speech should not and cannot be banned simply because it is offensive to substantial parts of a community. The refusal to suppress offensive speech is one of the most difficult obligations the free speech principle imposes upon all of us. Yet it is a central test of a community's commitment to free speech," unquote. Mr. Spage, in another article on the subject of repressing art, stated, quote, "People don't like to be told that they're too dumb or too potentially perverted to decide for themselves what they should be allowed to see, read, or hear. Whenever we allowed censorship on behalf of one set of noble causes, we weaken the argument against censorship on behalf of all other noble causes," unquote. Today, universities are receiving messages that supposedly there is acceptable art and unacceptable art, or indeed acceptable free expression and unacceptable free expression. This is very dangerous to the principles of a democracy that this nation has known it. Not only does this principle apply to speech and art, but also to all forms of expression, including the written word and music. Exposure to new thoughts, regardless of the mode of expression, is basic to learning and therefore fundamental to social, intellectual, and emotional maturation. Quoting again from Professor Gunther, quote, "Conflict is inherent in community, as it is in the family. We learn who we are by the friction of brushing up against our opposites. We take the measure of our own character in mind by measuring the character of another," unquote. Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes stated, quote, if there is any principle of the Constitution that more imperatively calls for attachment than any other, it is a principle of free thought. Not free thought for those we agree with, but freedom for the thought that we hate, unquote. People who themselves appear to have little interest in gaining an understanding and appreciation of unfamiliar cultures, religions, races, art forms, music, and social thought, too often feel obligated to prevent others from possessing and expressing divergent views. Others, unfortunately, take an even more extreme attitude and claim superior intelligence, higher morality, or even a special understanding of the wishes of their Creator as justification for restricting individual expression. Justice John Marshall Harlan insisted in his majority opinions that the mere inutility or immorality of a message cannot justify its repression, nor can the state punish because of the underlying content of the message. Unfortunately, discussions on many campuses and in many communities have disregarded the First Amendment and related Supreme Court rulings. Universities must strive to ensure the protection of inquiry and expression in a civil atmosphere regardless of individual or group interests or specific desired outcomes. The behavior of the campus community must be based on recognized and accepted institutional values and principles which provide a foundation for the protection of diversity of thought and expression by the campus community. These would include freedom of expression is uncompromisingly protected. Freedom for one person extends only to the point of violating the right of another person. Civility is powerfully affirmed. Sacredness of the person is honored. Individuals accept their obligation to the group. Diversity is aggressively pursued. Well-defined governance procedures guide behavior for the common good. These values have been recently addressed in a very important Carnegie report by Ernest Boyer entitled Campus Life in Search of Community. Collectively, such values and principles represent not only individual rights and privileges, but also an individual's responsibility to others and to the university community. The limits and balance of individual rights and responsibilities must be subjected to governance procedures and a standard of behavior designed for the common good of all. Thus, individuals cannot selectively choose for their benefit alone certain rights and privileges while ignoring their responsibilities to others and the common good of the university. The question before us is whether a university or our society can seek recognition and appreciation of religious, social, ethnic, and social diversity of beliefs and values, while at the same time seek unity of institutional purpose and pursuit of common objectives. The answer to the question of diversity or unity is that both are imperative and have their places in the type of campus climate that a university should seek. Promoting these principles and values, whether on a university campus or throughout our nation, will provide very difficult challenges for you. Particularly when, inevitably, highly emotional issues, language, and actions will threaten thoughtful and respectful discussions of ideas and opinions that individually we have come to abhor. However, we must insist upon freedom for full and civil pursuit of inquisitive thought and expression. Different people view their freedoms as protected by the Constitution in different ways. And it is important that the university community provide for a lawful and equitable process based upon sound principles and values for ensuring the protection of the basic tenets of the university, as well as the Constitution. At the same time, civility should be powerfully affirmed and diversity should be aggressively pursued. Thank you and good luck to the class of 1999.
those words. As a graduate dean, I would like to extend my personal congratulations to the class of 1991 and wish you well in your endeavors. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the joining for the singing of the university hymn led by Lydia Easley. The words to the hymn can be found on the back cover of your program. All graduates should remain standing following the hymn for the recessional. Guests are requested to resume their seats following the hymn and remain seated during the recessional. Thank you.
Thank you.